Well, hello. I'm here at our church, the Tascadero Gospel Chapel, and recently I've been spending about half my time doing pastor stuff and about half my time doing construction work. We had some roof leaks at our building, and that's been fixed, but there's a lot of drywall damage. Some had to be replaced, and some stains, some patches that had to be done. And so I've been doing that, and you can't see it too well in the video, I don't think, but up above me there's a pretty good stain, water stain. Maybe you can see a little better over here by the door. And I put several patches of drywall mud. In fact, it's been painted several times over the years. And just the last week, I put a layer of drywall mud over this. Looked great. It was nice and white and smooth. Next day, stain came right back, just showing right through it. There's been a couple coats since then. I even textured it yesterday. Stain keeps coming through. Like I said, you can see it a lot better in person than on the video. But no matter how many coats of paint, mud, plaster I put over that, that stain just keeps going through. Now, I'm not despairing because I can't buy something at the store called cover stain that is made that will cover it up. So I'm going to do that before the final paint. But those stains made me think of sin. That sin is what's in all of us that causes us to do wrong things that we know are wrong. Even the words we say, the things we think, our attitudes, they're just wrong. We know they're unworthy of God, and we can try to cover those things up. A lot of people try to cover up their sin with just a kind of a veneer of, oh, I'm looking respectable, maybe dressing the right way, doing the right things, hanging around the right crowds, not associating with certain people. But you know what? That stain of sin is still there. Some people try to cover up that stain by doing good things. Oh, I know I shouldn't do that. Yeah, I know I said that, but I help. I'm a nice person. I help people out. I do this. I volunteer here. But you know what? No amount of good things is going to cover up the stain of sin that's on our heart. A lot of people try to cover up their sin with religious activity, which kind of makes more sense. Oh, well, if I do something for God, if I go to church, if I read my Bible, if I pray, if I say certain things to God or perform certain things, well, that surely will make me okay, won't it? It doesn't. Nothing we can do will remove that stain of sin. It keeps showing through. We might be able to hide it from people outside of us, but that stain is still there. And the sobering thing is that every one of us will someday stand before God. Every one of us, we're going to give an account for every word we've said, everything we've done, the way we've lived our lives. And we may be able to hide a lot of stuff from other people, but it's all going to be exposed. That stain is going to be exposed before God. And so, and there's no spray paint to cover it up. That stain can't be, it must be removed. It can't be covered up. Is there any hope? Is there any hope for us? Well, there's an old song that says, "What can wash away my sin?" And the next word says nothing. And if it stopped there, that would be a pretty depressing song, but it says, nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can wash away my sin? Actually take it away. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. And that's a weird sounding phrase if someone's not used to, church and the Bible and stuff like that. But the blood of Jesus, talking about his death on the cross. Talking about the fact that when Jesus went to the cross, he was suffering there and dying for us. Jesus, God himself who came to earth, lived a perfect life, had no stain of sin on himself. And yet he went to the cross, allowed himself to be killed, punished on our behalf. And what was happening, that God the Father took all of our sin, that stain, all the condemnation, the judgment that we deserve, placed it on Jesus. And Jesus bore that because of who he was, his perfection. He put it away, paid the price, took the judgment that needed to be paid for our sin. And when we put our trust in Jesus, we put our life in his hands. We realize that on our own, yes, we're lost, but in him, when we join our life to his, ask him to forgive us, he takes our sin. And since he paid for it on the cross, he washes it away. It's taken away. We are forgiven, and we can stand before God clean with no more stain. It's gone. It's not even just covered up. He's removed our sin from us. So have you been to the cross? Do you know that forgiveness in your own life, the reality of you're okay before God? You will stand before him someday, not being judged, condemned for your sin, but rather accepted by him, loved by him, because he has taken your sin and you put your trust in that. I hope you know the reality of that in your own life. If you do, you know there's still a lot of work to be done when you become a Christian. Yes, we're clean, pure before God on the inside, and yet on the outside, it takes a while, right? We're still working through things. We still have to grow, but there's hope there too. God puts his spirit within us. That connection to God is his spirit joined to our spirit on the inside and making us alive inside. We're his child. And there's a battle that goes on between his spirit, between our desire to do right, and that sinful nature in us that still drags us down, causes us to do and to think wrong things. And yet there's victory in that because God's spirit will work in us, guide us, cause us to grow as time goes on. And then the ultimate victory is someday when this life is over, we'll be with the Lord in heaven. That sinful nature will be gone, and we will be all that God has created us to be, perfect forever with the Lord in a perfect place. I hope you have the assurance of that in your own life. If you don't, contact us. I don't know where you're watching this video, maybe on Facebook, somewhere else, but contact us at Atascadero Gospel Chapel. If you don't have a number or anything, go to atascaderogospelchapel.org, and there's contact information there. If you've got any questions about what it means to know the Lord, what it means to be forgiven, how to know that you are accepted by God and will be with him forever. If you want any help, if you want any encouragement in your just walk with the Lord, if you're a Christian and just need some encouragement, some help, contact us too. We'd love to talk to you, love to help you. God bless.